Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to another very special episode of the SoulTalk podcast. I'm really excited and just thrilled with my episode today. You know, each show seems to get more inspiring, and every guest, as you know, I try to bring on people that really I respect and that inspire me and that are really just having a positive impact on the world. And every week seems to top the next week. And this week is no different. I'm very excited about my guest today. I've read her books over the last decade and haven't had the opportunity to meet her in person. So this is a first for me, and I'm thrilled. It's a true privilege. I think you're going to receive so much value, folks. So get your pen and papers ready. She's a New York Times best-selling author of several books, including Take Time for Your Life, Life Makeovers, Stand Up for Your Life, The Unmistakable Touch of Grace, The Art of Extreme Self-Care, You Can Create an Exceptional Life with the amazing Louise Hay. I think her latest book, unless she's written another one between then and now, is Waking Up in Winter in Search of What Really Matters at Midlife. She's in my mind, she's a legend. You know, she's been featured on the Today Show, CBS Morning, New York Times, USA Today, and of course the Oprah Winfrey Show. You've probably seen her, you've maybe read her books. If you haven't, we are in for an amazing show. Welcome to Soul Talk, Cheryl Richardson. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you, Kute. Wonderful to be here.
Yeah, I've seen you over the years and read your books, and so as I was saying, it's a true privilege and thrill, and just have so many questions I want to delve in and dive in, and just one of the first places I want to start, just to set a context as we just dive in, do a little deep dive, is especially for those that may not have read your work or your books. I'd love to just get a sense of, I'm always curious in terms of how, especially in this field, being in this field, how folks began. I mean, what was your journey to doing what you're doing, becoming the president of the International Coach Federation and being on Oprah, being a best-selling author? I mean, did you grow up in that environment? Were you always spiritually inclined, with a sort of a directive towards self-help and self-development? I mean, how did you get started? How did that evolution happen? Tell me a bit about that.
Sure. Well, I would say that from a very young age, I've always been introspective and interested in why I'm here, what life's all about. Just, I guess, deeper. I had, always had sort of deeper questions. And when I was about 19, I hired my first therapist, which was a kind of a radical move back then. Wow. I was working in a family business, and I knew that I felt like I had the potential to do so much more with my life, and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to, what steps to take to realize my full potential. And that's what prompted me to make a decision to work with a therapist. There were no coaches back then. Coaching didn't really exist except for in sports. And so that I'm so grateful when I look back. That really helped me to, begin a journey of self-discovery and of understanding myself in a new and different way. And I've always been a voracious reader ever since I was very young. I made it through high school I made it through the early years of my life just by reading. Reading was my kind of the practice that I had that allowed me to enter different worlds. And so when I had gotten involved in therapy, it also kind of opened me to, there wasn't even a self-help section back then, but wow. I was interested in some of the early spiritual writers of the late 1800s and early 1900s, like Emmett Fox and Paramahansa Yogananda and Catherine Ponder and Florence Scovel Shiv. These are people in the early 1900s. Of course, a lot of people have heard of Norman Vincent Peale or Dale Carnegie and Napoleon Hill. And, I was interested in all of that kind of material. And so I read all their books and I loved books, and I had been writing since I was 12. I started keeping a journal when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
So I considered myself a writer. By the time I got to my early 20s, because I wrote almost every day, I just considered myself a writer. I didn't need to have a published book. I just, it was something I did. So I thought, well, I'm a writer. And as I got older, and as I, as I began to understand myself and understand how my family of origin influenced who I was and how my ancestry had influenced who I was, it allowed me to, to begin to kind of look outside the box of my life. I think all of us live within a box that we're often unconscious of. And one of the great things about self-discovery, self-help, therapy, coaching, whatever it might be, is it really helps us to see outside that box. And it's not until you can see beyond your everyday normal life, it's not until you can see beyond that you can actually not only, first of all, aspire to something different in your life, but then be able to actually go for it and achieve it.